right, welcome to the Iowa City Community School District School Board meeting, November 8th. My name is Rich. I call this meeting to order. I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight on election night. Very exciting. Smaller, different setup tonight than normal, so the video will be played on replay. And we're in a smaller room, and different room, as you can tell for looking at us here tonight. I'd like to introduce those at the table with me tonight. To my right, Directors Lori Rodland, Phil Hemingway, Brett Sling, Chris Liebig, Paul Whistler, and Natasha Doak-Slow. Order messing me up. The public is reminded if they wish to speak, complete a speaker form found at the table. It's at the front door right there with Kim. And during community comments, you may speak to the board about relevant topics relevant to the district. All community comment directed on agenda and agenda items shall take place during the community comment section of the agenda. And the first, and this just a pretty basic meeting tonight because it's election night, so it's a pretty standard or very operational agenda. But first agenda item is community comment. Thanks for your interest in the Iowa City Community School District and for your willingness to share your comments. You're reminded to give your name, address, the topic you wish to speak. All community comment will take place now. State your name, agenda item, and address. And all community comment will be limited to 4 minutes each. We won't need to go beyond. There's only 2 community comments tonight, though. Just a reminder, to the extent you're commenting on items not posted on our posted agenda, the board may ask follow-up questions of speakers as prohibited by Iowa Open Meeting Law, responding to questions from speakers or engaging in substantive discussion regarding non-agenda items. First up is Denise Zarublis.
Dennis. Sorry.
Oh, Denise. Dennis, sorry, that's me.
My right.
Just have you stand up over here.
Okay.
Then Karen will be on deck.
Thank you, board, for having this meeting, having this opportunity to speak. My name is Dennis Rublitis. I live at 765 Avalon Place in Coralville, one of the shires out in North Lincoln area is what I think people refer to it as. The one thing I want to talk about today a little bit is the open enrollment policy and how it impacts us right now. Last week I had a neighbor of mine that called up kind of frantic because she had my daughter Lindy is a sophomore at City right now. She has a daughter at City right now as well, and another one that's going to be coming in next year, so she'll be a freshman senior. And she was all kind of flustered like that. She knew that open enrollment policy that the juniors and seniors they should go to Liberty, but they could open enroll back into City if they wanted to do that. Well, that didn't help her too much, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe where we live, we're too close for busing for Liberty. And if we decide to go back to City again, there's no transportation as far as that's concerned either. And so that's kind of one of the things that kind of bothered me. My daughter really kind of wants to go back to City. She was one of the kids that was one of the Lincoln kids that got shifted over to the City, which wasn't a bad thing, honestly. What probably was a little bad about it was that she went to junior high at Northwest. So all those kids she met from all those other schools, poof, they're gone, except for the 50 Lincoln kids that went to City with her. So, which isn't bad, and I know there's other Lincoln kids there as well. But it seemed like such a, wow, last year was very difficult for her. Basically, the change going to high school is one thing, but then the fact that 90% of your friends are gone as a result. It's like moving, basically. She's done that pretty well. She has some medical conditions, which anxiety and things like that kind of rise to a different level because of this. So now I have my 15-year-old daughter coming to me too, as well as my neighbors, saying, you know, my friends up further on Dubuque Street have been asking, so do you know about this and where are you going to go? Because they want to be somewhere where it's not like they're the other little island kid, you know, okay, I don't know you because you went here and it's all new people up there. Not a bad thing. But at the same time, these kids, I wouldn't say suffered, but it's like, they got, I wouldn't say a raw deal. Somebody has to get, no one's ever going to be happy with everything, quite honestly. And I think when the boundaries changed to move the high schools and everything else, it seemed like, okay, we got ours. We did, not got ours, we did what we needed to do to team play the whole thing. And now it seems like by her wanting to go to City and no transportation is like, you're kidding, you know, it seems like, I understand why, I understand funds are tight on this thing, and I understand you want to grow Liberty High School as well. And part of that, she did look at Liberty and look to see what they offered and what she currently takes at City. She's in a couple AP classes. Chances are unlikely, well, you won't really know what AP classes you'll have there, and correct me if I'm wrong, until you got, everyone's basically signed up, and then you see what kind of interest there is in those classes before you can do much of anything with it. So she can sign up, you know, cross your fingers and hope they're available. And if they're not, then she gets to go up there, down there, or if she goes up there, she gets to go west to do her AP classes. And it's like, these kids, I don't want her to drive. I mean, I'm sure people have heard that one before. You don't want 15-year-old, 16-year-old kid driving around to class. I mean, that could do anything. She's in band. She's in show choir, which I don't know if they're going to have show choir at Liberty. It didn't really say on the website if they're going to have it.
Thanks, Dennis, you're here 4 minutes.
I mean, okay.
I know it's a little tougher without it
Okay.
on the screen.
Sorry. Okay, so if you can help us, please.
Thanks, Dennis.
I'd appreciate it.
Karen?
Actually, can I ask a follow-up question,
Sure.
just for clarification?
Sure.
Have you been able to speak to any district personnel about your concerns, besides us?
No, I know Mr. Bacon talked to our neighbor
Okay.
about it, and that's how it all started.
Okay,
So,
great.
And I thought this would be another starting point, and you talked to him too. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. Karen?
Karen Woltman, 880 Grouse Lane. I am here to speak about the science curriculum review recommendations that news coverage indicates you will be asked to approve at the next regular board meeting. Tonight, I urge the board not to take action to adopt science curriculum recommendations at the next board meeting. Here's why. The science curriculum review proposals are not a straightforward textbook adoption that would be easy for us all to understand. Instead, due to the adoption of the next generation science standards, the proposals involve significant changes to the district science curriculum. Unfortunately, not enough information has been provided to the community for us to assess how well the proposals will meet the full range of science programming needs of our secondary students. Fortunately, the next generation science standards do not have to be implemented until the 2018-19 school year, so there doesn't seem to be any reason the board and the community can't hear a detailed presentation from the administration at the next board meeting about the proposal to implement the next generation science standards in the Iowa City schools, with the board delaying action until the community has an opportunity to provide feedback about the proposal. The state sets the standards, but we have options about how we as a district organize those standards into courses, and choices also to make about instructional methods and materials to be used in these courses. Members of the community have questions about which options are really on the table with this proposal, and whether the proposed options are really the best ones for the kids of this district. Questions about proposed course sequences and course syllabi, about whether there will be separate honors course offerings, and how decisions will be made about which students get access to accelerated coursework. And questions about textbooks and other instructional materials. Very little information, if any, has been provided to the community to answer these questions. So please hear the administration's presentation, then take at least a few weeks to allow the community to weigh in on the plan before authorizing the administration to move forward with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. That's it for community comment tonight. Next item on the agenda is the business consent agenda. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
Second. Bill? Bills?
Yeah, pretty straightforward. There's some things in there I think we will need to discuss in operations, but I think that's the time to really bring it up and discuss it.
I reviewed the bills too. I have nothing more to add as well. All right, Kim, we're ready to vote.
Online voting is open. All votes have been cast and the motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
All right, next item on the agenda is Appendix 9. Dwayne?
Okay, thank you. I'll just do it from here.
Sounds good.
We have 8 projects with 9 approvals. The first one is the 10-plex transitional schoolhouse. It's a step 8 change request for $26,723. and the district requested some additional drain tile and fabric be put around the unit to get the moisture away and keep the kids from playing with the dirt. The next one is the Coralville Central Elementary School window replacement project. That's also a change request for $18,097. We had some unforeseen conditions at the head of the windows, both sides of the windows and at the sill, and we got into the building and started tearing into it. The third one is step 7 award of contract, Liberty High School for the student and staff furniture. We had 4 bids. A little bid was IPI, Iowa Prison Industries, for $426,688. The high bid was $599,000. There was a bid for $200-some thousand, but it was incomplete. We deemed it non-responsible. Longfellow Historical Renovation, Step 4, Design Development. I do have the drawings. I didn't bring them in this little room, but they're out in my truck. If you want to see them, I'll gladly show them to you after the meeting. Otherwise, they'll be at the physical plant. They're looking pretty good. And I might add that the Historical Commission recommended approval too, so that was a good move. Lucas Elementary, Step 8, change request for $44,734. We actually asked the contractor to do some additional painting that was not in the scope, some additional ceiling tile, and the code request to change some fire alarms, and we added some electrical mechanical work. Nutritional Services Freezer Cooler Replacement Project, Step 8, change request for $8,548. Again, we had some bad soil conditions down there. We had to over-excavate, put some fill in. Plumbing Life Cycle High School, the locker room, line is leak, which is to completion, reason $7,183. The punch list is also recommended, 610 project accepted. This one is the roof management program. We actually for $5,500. Additional repair work at West High. The roof that blew off actually destroyed masonry tucking the joints. So we do that. The fabric actually pulled the roof or the brick right off the joint. So we had some repair work to do there. A change request for $7,891 to do at City High. We found electrical conduits were laying on the roof that were damaging material. So we actually had to buy some supports to get them up off the roof deck itself. With that, I answer any questions you might have.
Question. The roof at West High, was that we were getting paid for this additional?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to money, but some additional.
Okay, and the windows at Coralville Central, is that something that, it's a change order in or in there?
The changes had to be made once we pulled windows and discovered what the conditions were, makes sense, before the new ones could go ahead and make a few changes. And that was in the older and the newer part of the building, in both sections.
It's in the newer part of the building.
The window project was both parts, the old and
Okay.
new.
So it's affecting both new and old?
Yes,
Okay.
no. I don't know if we're understanding each other. There's Coralville Central was 1950.
I just,
Two sections, 59. It's 59. It's as old as I am. I mean,
And then the other,
I need renovations too. So
we discovered unknown conditions or unforeseen conditions in both sections of the building that had to be modified to make the new windows work,
Okay,
okay?
all right,
Better?
okay. Now, and this was something that was unforeseen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you actually had to remove the windows to get up into the head details to see what was going on up above the old windows, so.
all right, for the questions, entertain a motion.
Move that we accept and sign.
Does this come? Emerald.
Open. All votes have been cast and the motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
All right, next agenda item is, 22nd, first say the 22nd night with the work session. In fact, I think we should suggest moving in operations to the first meeting in December. Let's get into, first is the 24th agenda,
You're suggesting moving the operations from that to,
from December, I think it's.
when's our stuff for second meeting?
That would be it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
all right.
it's gonna be this 2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks from tonight.
It'll be 4 weeks from tonight.
Right, okay, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
We're just moving it at one meeting because it's
Gotcha.
pretty full.
Yep.
And we already moved this work session, so.
Yes, I agree.
we
Under,
gotta-
under section D of the agenda, program of studies, does that refer to the science curriculum discussion?
Yes.
And academic achievement data analysis, I'm just kinda curious what that's gonna be.
Let's follow up on the last data achievement report, some further analysis. I think there were some requests for breakdowns of data.
Well, the only thing I'd wanna add is the thing I mentioned
or whatever for that September 6th hearing that we held. And again, Appendix 6 kind of we're supposed to make some kind of statement, maybe not the minority members, but so if we can have a quick discussion of that, I'd like to do that.
I have no problem putting on a work session, but it doesn't matter.
Well, if you want to vote on it, yes or no, wouldn't it have to be in the meeting?
There's no board action required.
I guess I'm not sure, because it seems like the default is no, and so there would have to be something to change it to yes.
Well, let's put it this way, I'll just tell you my point of view, I'm not interested in putting it on the board agenda. That's my personal opinion. I have no problem putting it on the work session agenda. Because I think it's just a conversation.
Mine just disappeared. Shut down.
Perfect.
Well, can I make a motion to put it on the board agenda? If it fails, I'll move to put it on the.
Oh, we just go around the,
Okay.
we don't have to do a motion. Tosh, you want on the agenda or work session or no?
To just talk about putting the,
I've written up a statement about why I voted the way I
Appendix
did. And just a question of whether we put that up on the website for that night or not.
I don't mind seeing it on the work session. I mean, this is pretty full agenda for folks. Is there, I mean, what's the reason why we can't have it on the work session? We can't have it, or we can't have it on the work session?
Well, the work session is the same night, so I'm not gonna shorten the night at all to switch it to the work session.
No, I'm just talking about for folks who are tuning in type of thing. I mean, it just sounds like you just need to have a discussion if we're gonna add it or not, right? Oh, okay. I don't have a problem with it being on the work session. That makes sense to me.
Oh, I think that'd be all right with work session.
All right, well, it sounds like it's gonna be work session.
You're okay with work session?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Got that, Kim?
I do.
So I have a question. On the program of study, since that's under teaching and learning, that wouldn't be an action item, correct?
Sure. I mean,
It is an action item.
anything on the agenda.
We bring the program studies in every year. So if there are new courses that are presented or there's a change in the program of studies, you get that every year. One of the things you'll see this year is that they've been working really hard to unify the program of studies so that there's one program of studies that covers all high schools. Previously, the course numbering and the course titles were different at the two high schools. So they've been working for about the last 9 months on unifying those so that there's one series of course numbers and one series of course titles for all secondary classes. They'll be bringing that in and presenting that to you so that you'll be able to take a look at that and go through and ask questions about that. And then given some of the questions earlier, we'll work on them about having a more in-depth discussion about the science changes too.
But as the community member spoke, will we be expected to vote at that meeting on the science curriculum?
It's up to us.
It's up to you.
Well, I mean, but normally it comes,
We do bring it to you so that you can approve it, so that we can actually put it into the course registration materials for students. So if you don't take action on that, that will delay the actual production of the physical course of studies, that program studies that's provided to parents and students as part of the registration process. So that could have the likelihood of slowing down the actual registration process for students for next year.
Not to discuss it, but as part of this agenda, I'm sure we're gonna wanna know, what do we have to do that night versus what do we have time to do?
Sure.
And you're anticipating that there'll be a recommendation for
Yes.
the actions? All right.
Yes.
And we can talk about it more between now and the meeting, but I can fully understand the question and the point, so.
Can I ask that for that meeting that we have some type of understanding of what, historical context of how the science curriculum recommendation was made?
We'll actually recommend that we bring members of the team with us.
Beautiful.
That's why I think it's a big agenda item, so we don't
Yes.
wanna take our time with it.
And I know at the last meeting, there was some discussion about a flow chart similar to what happens with the
Yes.
macular kid.
That's been completed,
Outstanding,
so we'll
great.
have that too.
That's gonna be very helpful, I think.
Thank you.
All right, anything else on the 22nd?
well, the work session.
Yep, next is the work session.
On the work session, I put the fraternization and the, I think the sexuals, the D and E. I would suggest that we push, since both of those discussions are not so time sensitive, we put those back, give us some time. Put Chris's topic on, and also add seclusion rooms as another topic for discussion.
Steve, you're ready to talk to that, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll have material ready. I believe you had some that we were already able to pull and present to you at the table today. And We'll have, be able to have some of the folks there, to
Right.
start that
Jane
conversation.
will not be here at that meeting, but other staff will be here.
Correct.
And so if we got questions before then, we need to get with Jane so she can have those available too. So we would be adding, Director Levick's Appendix 6, a discussion on seclusion rooms, and I'd like to put another one on for emails. In particular, an email from a board member to Mrs. Cruden. And I think that needs to be discussed.
What's the topic?
The content of the email.
What's the topic? The public needs to understand.
Okay.
If I can't understand the
Okay,
topic, then the public's not gonna
it's an
understand it.
email that Brian sent to this woman, and I think it's something we need to discuss because it kind of goes, I don't think it's the type of response a stakeholder should expect from a board member.
So you're talking actual email response?
Yes.
Okay.
Right,
That's
it's an
So
actual.
it's not the actual topic, it's the method of response.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
With all due respect, if you disapprove of my personal response to somebody as an elected official like you, I don't think that my email should come under the purview of the board's discretion.
Well, I think it has to do with,
I am nothing but polite to people, and
well,
in 3 years, I have never been
Brian?
impolite.
Well, okay, Brian.
Do you have a problem with the topic?
I have a significant problem with the topic.
All right, well, we're gonna have to go around the horn then.
Okay. Well, I suggest that we put this on, we discuss it, because I don't think it's the way.
Are you sure you guys don't wanna talk it before the board talks it?
Sure, we can talk, I've talked with Brian about it afterwards. But I've spoken with the person that received it, and I think it's important for us to understand our role and not to.
Can I suggest this, and we're just talking agenda stuff.
Sure.
Why don't you guys talk it first, and we'll decide. if it
Well,
goes.
too many times, that just means it's not gonna get on there, and I think it's something we just need to.
I just like to be
address
clear, if what the topic is, people upset with the way a board member responds
no.
to them,
No, it's the content of the email itself.
What's the content?
Well,
I'm just saying, I mean, if it's a
I can
topic.
read it to you.
No, you
Well,
cannot.
I don't
Well,
wanna read that.
you absolutely cannot.
constituent gave me permission to share it.
I know,
But
we're-
open
not-
meeting clause.
We're
It's
in
not
an
on the
agenda
agenda,
setting, we
so-
can't.
Oh,
Do
We're
okay.
just talking, what
Okay.
is the
The
agenda
topic.
topic?
The agenda topic is the content of the email. The agenda topic is how board members interact with the community in their electronic email.
Board member interaction with the community.
Is that
We
fair
just need to
enough?
limit our conversation to that.
Right,
I'm
and
just
I
asking-
don't think it's gonna be a long conversation.
Okay, it's just clarifying questions, because the public needs to be able to understand based on
Right.
our agenda what
Yeah,
we're talking about.
exactly.
If it's not a long okay.
Well, then put it on the board meeting. I don't
You
care.
making a record not to review it, or?
That's my recommendation. I think if people are interested in,
Latasha, on off.
No, off, really? I
Oh.
mean, right now, emails have caused people to be threatened, so I'm not for this right
Oh.
now.
I think if we were to open this one up, it would lead to a bigger discussion than I don't think we're ready to have it.
So you're off.
Well, I guess I'll say on, with the understanding that if Phil and Brian work something out in the meantime, they can let you know when it'd be off.
I'd say off until you guys talk.
I say on.
Lori?
I guess I don't know enough about it to say, so,
frankly, I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't have an opinion, that's fine. Oh. You're off.
I'm off.
All right, so it's off. So we're gonna, seclusion rooms, or we're gonna appendix 6, and Phil, do you wanna?
And the liaison officer discussion is still on.
Yep. Did you propose moving fraternization and sexual assault out?
To
Postpone?
a future.
Because there's two options, we could put them last, or we could put them out.
No, I think there's enough
Move
on
it out.
that one that we put it further down the road.
Okay, so we're gonna put D and E out to a future.
Work
Right.
session.
Yeah, all right, makes sense.
I don't have an item I want to add, but I think it would be helpful if, as we go into this FMP discussion, we had updated numbers on what it would cost to put Hoover School into the condition we would want it to be in if we decided to keep it open. I asked for some of since those estimates were made by BLDD. So if there was some way just to get that number so people can, factor that into their thoughts about it all, I think that makes sense. That's not, obviously it falls
It's
within the
within
agenda.
the agenda. All right, any other agenda items?
Nothing to add to this, but one for future topic as we go to, get ready to go one-to-one, I think we should just have a discussion on computer safety or cell phone usage policies, what the district is going to do for that, maybe across the district. Not only the one-to-one computer access and what kids will be able to and not be able to get into, but also on the cell phone side of things.
Put that on a future work session?
Yeah.
Okay, got that. All right, anything else? I think we aligned to move operations to the first meeting of December. The last agenda setting question, if you recall last year, the state music honorees came to a board meeting, and there was basically the same question as last year, do we want to do that again? Yes, no?
Why not?
Parents look forward to it.
Yeah.
It's a chance for us to see the students that have achieved a great honor.
Anyone want to recommend no? I think we would target the first meeting in December.
And there's just one meeting in December.
The 13th.
Well, that's a good point. I think
We're just having one meeting in
So
December.
that's right, the only meeting in
First and
December.
only.
Are these students recognized any other place? Like, is there a banquet like there is for athletics? Is there any other situation in which they get recognition? Or is this the only recognition they get?
I know at at City High, when Anita and I were doing Bach, that we had a band banquet at the end of the year, and we would recognize all staters at that time.
It was kind of a tradition.
But yeah, it has, I can remember doing with my daughter over at the old building, so yeah, it is.
And personally, if we want to do more recognition, I'd be like, yeah, great.
Do teachers and staff know how to get their students recognized for the board? Because we're gonna go back to the soccer situation where there was an entire group of kids that weren't recognized. So I'm just saying, how do other staff get to the board's attention about being recognized? Because
Well, the method in this case, it came to Steve and myself, I think, right? So
Yeah, they made a request.
do people, is that clearly, do staff know that?
It's not,
That's
it's not
how
a part of
you-
the board agenda. They come to us ad hoc when various groups may wish to then be in front of the board. So we don't get many of them right now. And I think that's because there isn't a slot for it, if you will.
All right, then December, anything else on agenda setting?
I wondered if, and everybody's gonna hate this idea, and we don't have to decide it tonight, but are we okay with just one meeting in December? We got all kinds of things we're supposed to do by the end of January. I know we can't have a December 23rd meeting, but we could have a meeting a week after the first meeting, or a week before it or
It's
something. I mean,
education committee that night, but
I'm just a little worried we're gonna get ourselves into this spot, where we gotta figure all this stuff out by the end of January, and we get kinda so rushed that it's gonna affect the decision.
So along those lines,
I don't know what the options are for another meeting.
can we talk about what's on the December agenda? And are we having a work session? I assume we are that night. And it'll be probably a lot of the same topics, because we won't be done with them. And the all-state music will take a good, half an hour, would you guess?
I don't
Is-
think.
So-
So is that something we could even start before the board meeting starts at 6? Could we have is the recognition a part of the actual board meeting?
It was.
That's the request.
Okay.
I don't think it was half an hour last time, but
Are we expecting to have those enrollment projections from DeYoung Richter by the first December meeting?
They're hoping to have them by December 1st.
But why don't we have this discussion on the 27th?
Yeah, we can, at least to toss out, to think about it in the meantime.
I think December 20th would be the date that there would be a meeting. That'd be Tuesday the 20th.
It's pretty harsh.
Or we could do the next, I think the next Tuesday we have an education.
We could do the 7th of December, I guess.
Yeah, the big problem with that'll be turnaround. So if there are things that you want on the 20th, I would suggest that you actually do the calendars, the agendas on the 22nd for both the 13th and the 20th, because otherwise you're literally gonna have about a 48-hour turnaround or less in order for us to get the agenda posted with attachments for it.
Although we do have, so if we don't do anything, we'll have 3 weeks between the last November meeting and the first December meeting? Because of the December having, is that wrong?
Yes.
Or-
I can't do it in
No,
my head, I'm
no,
sorry.
it's not wrong. Yes.
There's 5 weeks in November, yeah.
So
Five Tuesdays.
We
November
could do
29th,
like,
December 7th, December
we could go November 22nd to December
Six.
7th.
Six,
I'm more
sorry.
worried about a work session really than about a meeting. I just feel like maybe we'll need an extra work session somewhere in there.
Well,
But we can figure it out.
We can talk after the 22nd. All right, anything else?
I just want to ask another question, Steve. When is the administration looking to have direction from the board on voluntary transfer rules?
Oh, yeah.
That was going, is that something that needs to be dealt with in December?
I think we planned on, again, back to your point, we'd probably have a work session and review that, right? Because you're not gonna have until December 1st.
You're looking for the numbers?
I'm
Right.
wondering when administration needs a decision from the board. Is
We
it-
won't have the numbers gathered until Thursday, the 1st is the deadline, so we likely won't have those processed until either the end of that week at the earliest, or perhaps the middle of the next week in terms of counts. So probably the earliest we'd be able to bring numbers to you would be that Tuesday, the 6th, it's certainly by the 13th.
Okay, so, but when do you need a decision made?
By one of those 2 dates.
By
I mean,
one
if you're
of
gonna
those-
meet on the 6th, we could bring it there, or on the 13th.
So
More
you
likely
want
the
us to make
13th.
a decision the same night that we see the numbers?
Either that, or we could wait until January, of course, the longer that we wait, the longer the families are waiting.
But if we were to have a work session on like the first week of December and then a meeting the second week, we'd have 2
Sure.
shots at it.
Sure.
I just feel like this is a big decision we don't want to gloss over, and I feel like that needs to be factored into this decision of whether we have a work session or not.
Well, why don't we
I don't
pencil,
want to just rush that
how
through.
about this, we pencil in the 6th? Do you have P&G that night?
Yeah, we do have P&G, but
We could pencil in a work session for the 6th,
we could do after P&G. Keep it short and
or
sweet.
after, whatever.
But will you have the numbers
By
by
the
then?
6th, we can work to make sure that we have that done by then, because we'll have them in by the 1st.
I mean, you'll have what you'll
So-
have.
Yeah, and we're processing them as they move along, so it'll be us processing the ones from that last week.
Okay. So we would review them on the 6th, and then we would potentially take action at the board meeting following.
And there may be no action required depending on the number that come in, given the parameters that are already in place.
So we would either take action or not take action, but it would be in December when we do
And we
not
would
have
know
the
whether
meeting.
we need an action item by the time we get to that 6th meeting, so from that standpoint, we'd know whether or not we need it on the 13th.
Thank you.
Sounds like an exciting couple meetings, can't wait. Anything else on agenda setting? All right, have a good election night, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Chris, second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned, thank you.